welcome to another episode of Market Mornings. I'm your host, Jay Reed. And yeah, man, like I said, we back. They're doing our thing. It's like I said, if you've been rocking with me for a while, I've been gone for a few months, but it was for the better, man. I was trying to upgrade the stream and eliminate a lot of lag, and so we're back in action, baby. Fresh charts. Try to give you the best news. Just a full vibe. Tap in. And today's soundtrack, I'm trying to add music so you don't feel lonely, or my voice doesn't feel lonely. But today's soundtrack is gonna be, and I want to shout them out. Hopefully it's royalty free, but we're rocking with A Lo-Fi Soul. Check them out on YouTube. A great vibe. They usually go live and give you some good music to work to and do your thing too. So yeah, A Lo-Fi Soul on YouTube. But yeah, man, we got another jam-packed show for you. So good morning, traders. This is for all my traders, people looking for market news to know where that bag is at. It's Wednesday, October the 15th. And yeah, man, after a quick upgrade to the stream, like I said, we just want to bring this to you live and as many times as we can during the week. I don't know if I'll be able to do it every day, but the goal is to give you this market update and give you some live trading. It might not be on YouTube. You may have to switch over to some of my other channels. You can find the links in the description to catch that. But yeah, man, we're just gonna get right into it. It's earnings season. Just cracked wide open. You got the banks reporting, crypto acting funny again, and gold just hit a new all-time high again. And you already know we're gonna break it all down for you. So let's get into it. But first, just give you a market landscape so you can see how the market is doing. Know how the water is before you get in, or if you want to get in. The S&P 500 futures are actually up 0.6%. NASDAQ 100 is up 0.8%. The 10-year is still around that 4% mark, 4.007. Gold, like I said, it just hit a new all-time high, 4,200. And the dollar index is down a little bit, about 0.2%. So we got green across the board. NASDAQ's feeling fresh, gold's flexing again, and the dollar is taking a breather right now. But let's see why. So as we go into the news portion of the stream today, we want to, like I said, earnings are heating up. Stock gains as strong earnings soothe trade fears. So that's why the dollars. That's the first thing we want to look at is earnings, how that affected the market. In global stocks advance as strong earnings reignite risk appetite in a market that's been whipsawed for days by shifting trade fears and people dumping their money in the gold and all that good stuff. So right now, initially the market seems to like the start of earnings season, which was not the case last earnings season. Get a little coffee. Like I said, S&P 500 futures are up 0.6%. As a second day of big bank results get underway. We got Bank of America reporting today, and they actually handedly beating their estimates for, they don't have anything on the side, but they beat their estimates pretty good. So, and then you got the Europe's stock 600 rose, and that's mostly fueled by Louis Vuitton. Everybody got to get that Louis. No matter how the economy doing, we got to look good. They jumped 15%. We'll talk more about that later. The dollar fell against all major peers as bets of Federal Reserve interest cuts grew, and China stepped up support for the yuan. So China started manipulating their currency again. We fell a little bit, but we right in there. So right now, all the news is supporting or pointing towards a good start to the earnings season, like I said, and that was not the case last earnings season. As I was saying, Louis Vuitton shares surge after surprise return to sales growth. Louis Vuitton shares rose the most in almost a quarter century after the company unexpectedly returned to sales growth. So that suggests suggesting a slump in luxury demand is easing, and when that happens, that means people have money. The rich always are going to have money, so they're going to be propped up by that. But the poor, if we have money to spend on Louis Vuitton, then that's a good thing for the economy, for us to waste our money on luxury goods instead of trying to get ahead. But that's just the way it goes. The company's third quarter revenue rose just 1% on an organic basis, snapping 2 quarters of declines. So naturally, they didn't do any manipulation. They didn't do any stock buybacks or anything like that they didn't do any funny stuff to get their revenue to rise. So that's a good thing. And they're also moving into the China market. Their sales rose 2% last quarter. So that's after dropping 9% in the first half. And that may have been tied to tariffs. I'm not sure. Because, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but that's a heck of a rise there. And then, you also got Christian Dior up 14% and Prada up 8%. So luxury goods for everybody. Then we got ASML surged as well. ASML Holdings shares rose after the company said the artificial intelligence boom is fueling demand for its cutting-edge chip making. So the company reported 5.4 billion pounds. I think that's euros in booking, and in the third quarter, and its sales will favor its cutting-edge machines, but business in China will be significantly lower. So China kind of doing their own thing. They're trying to block out everybody and catch up. Understandably, I mean, you got to do what's best for you, I guess. So ASML Holdings is up as well, and then you got Taiwan Semiconductor. If you can afford that, $1,400 a share, it's up 2.8%. You got Samsung. Man, Samsung's really $95,000 for a share. That's crazy. They're up 5%, and like I said, ASML. Gold breaks $4,200. Silver slightly tightens. Silver is so scarce, the UK's Royal Mint is begging for time to restock. Traders are flying silver bars across the ocean, like I talked about yesterday. Traders are buying silver over there and flying it across over here to catch the premium. So the demand is so much, and which is strange to me because the price is going down a little bit, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But the demand is so much that people are paying the money to buy the stuff over there, fly it over here for whatever that cost is, and still make money. But like I said, gold rose to a fresh $4,200 an ounce, and silver surged a little bit, but it's pulling back a little bit, boosted by an escalation in U.S.-China frictions and bets the Federal Reserve will cut interest twice more this year. So I guess the market is saying that, even though we're gonna get those rate cuts, we're still not sold on the U.S. economy. We're gonna put our money in gold and run it up, and that's what's going on. yields on the it may have something to do with the Treasury. Yields on the U.S. Treasury fell to the lowest levels in months after Fed Chair Jerome Powell signaled. We talked about Powell having a speech coming up yesterday. It was like at 12:20 or something like that. So Powell signaled the U.S. central banks is on track to deliver another quarter point cut later this month. Lower yields and borrowing costs tend to benefit precious metals, which don't pay interest. Exactly. So that's that kind of explains the run to gold. You're gonna make more money there than you would in U.S. Treasuries. And I'm cutting out a little bit. Give me 1 second here. Maybe that gives me a little, that gives me a little bit more room now. All right, so gold's on a surge. So in like I said, we talked about silver. The Royal Mint warns of delivery delays as Londoners rush for silver. London's demand for precious metals has pushed the Royal Mint into overdrive, prompting a ramp up. So the silver output is, they can't keep up with the demand, like I said. So they're trying to, all hands on deck to get more silver in the market, which is probably, why it'll pull back a little bit because of oversupply. Well, it's undersupply right now, but and that's drove the price up. But eventually they're gonna catch up because they want to make the money. But that's also gonna kind of tampen the demand. Let me see. I got a little something cut out going here. Yeah, that sounds better. All right. So then the next thing in the news. Let me see here. We got. Let's see. We had something on Argentina. Argentina says it's gone if. Trump says America is gone if Argentina's Mali loses. The $20 billion lifeline now comes with strings and pesos. Remember I talked about the other day that Trump and the U.S. government has propped up the peso. They were, I won't say they were doing I won't even say that. They're spending their money wisely to try to get something in return. And it was 20 billion and they were trying to prop up. But, of course, like I said, it was something in return. And that return is, you got to elect Miley. And that seems to be the case. And I had an article, but it looks like they took it down. Let's see here. And then an $80 billion market drawdown is the latest test for crypto faithful. Remember that ETH rally? Gone. Ether down 20%, wiping 80 billion. Tech trade, definitely. It's a tech trade. Is it a tech trade? Definitely. But the faithful always buy the dip. And you got companies like Bitmine is down 7%, FRNT Financial, these are all mining companies of Ether, and they're down 3% as well. So and just 2 months ago, enthusiasm around Ethereum, the blockchain that powers a key corner of the crypto economy, was spilling into the mainstream. Its native token Ether. I got Ether somewhere in the cloud. I was doing like something called Crypto Kitties. I can't find it. Can't find my stuff. So, Ether's been around. Ether's been like talked about for decades, but it's finally doing its thing. But it's pulled back a little bit. So, the traders say buy the dip, and that may be the case. So, let's see what's on the move now. It kind of brings us to the charts here. First, let's take a look at crypto. We got, like I said, Ether. You see that pullback? Let me make sure you can see. Yeah, you see that pullback right here. It's since recovered a little bit, but I think this 20% drawdown is what it's talking about. And then, we still got some, like I said, people buy the dip. They bought the dip. I mean, this was the floor to them at 38-ish, 39-ish. and it's up. So like I said, like I say, crypto is a long ride. It's a long game. You gotta have, guts when you're trading crypto, unless you're day trading, which is very volatile. But if you're not, it's like the more you look at it, probably the worse off you are, because you'll get, you'll react to this kind of drop, and then you lose, you sell, and then you lose your possible gain or your possible breakout, because crypto can break out at any moment. So some of the other ones that I was looking at, like I said, Bitcoin's down a little bit as well, but like I said, it dropped, but it's since kind of stabilized in this range here, and it'll probably hit this target like it did here and bounce back up. So and then you have internet computer. I've been investing in this, and first let me go back to the beginning. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. Before you make any financial moves, make sure you consult with your financial advisor, because that's the best thing to do. You shouldn't just make any moves based on a guy on YouTube. But anyways, I digress. And you also may hear about some affiliate links, and here is no pressure to buy those. It's just a quick way to support the stream and help me continue to do things like I'm doing, like upgrade my setup, give you better sound, give you better quality, all that good stuff. But anyways, like I said, I go back. Internet computer company is something that I've been investing in. I bought the dip on here. So, I'm looking for it to get back up to, a higher amount. I won't say what that amount is. SWE. I've always been a fan of SWE. It's if you deal in altcoins or staking or anything like that, I think SWE has a good platform for that. Do your own research on it. But I also bought the dip on that. Solana looks pretty good. This was at what, 200-300 at one point. And forgive me, man, I got the weather's changing here, so I got a little sinuses going on this morning. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Soul's been doing this thing as always, and it'll probably bounce back as well. And it's a good. They use Soul to buy, like, if you dibble and dabble in what they call it, rug coins and all that stuff. If you like getting rugged, Soul's your guy. Soul's the is what you use to buy all that stuff. And I'll have some videos, tutorials on that if you want to get into that kind of murky water. It is murky, but it can be profitable. And XRP, of course. XRP, this is just what I do. I'm not saying take this as financial advice, but I usually ride this up and down. You know what I mean? I usually let it get to around $3, then I short it down to about $2 or close to it, and then I go long from $2 up to $3. And I've kind of been doing that all year, and it's been fairly profitable for me. Sometimes I've missed it, like this big down here. This would have been a lot of money if I would have leveraged it like to 500x, like you could do on btcc.com. I have a link in my description that'll give you a little bonus if you're a first time user to that site, but they let you leverage up to 500x. So that's all I have for crypto. A lot of these are speculative. Trump coin dropped to like nothing, almost $1.50, and then it rose back up to $6. I unfortunately got in at 30, so I'm underwater big time in that. So it is what it is. I didn't put a lot of money in there. This was like during the election time, so whatever. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of those stock movers. We have Papa John's. Shout out to Shaq. Papa John's is on a tear right now, on a takeover bid. So Papa John's surge why investors could see a big payday. Barron's.com is reporting that shares of Papa John International spiked Wednesday on growing hopes for a takeover by Apollo Global. Apollo submitted an offer for $64 a share. Wow, that's where are they at now? They're at 47. So if this offer goes through, you still got what? It's 54 pre-market, so you still got about $10 or so just off of the offer. So they see big things in Papa John's. I'm not hating on them, but they're not my first choice. I'll say that. I won't say they're bad or anything like that. They're just not my first choice. I take that back. When they have good promos, like if you follow your sports teams, they usually have good promos around your sports team. So, I'm not hating on them. I actually, in a time when I was not so financially stable, I used to use them all the time, especially when I was trying to feed a whole bunch of people like my friends. Who put a couple dollars together and get a nice bag from them. But yeah, so they're up to 54, 14%. They're up to 54 pre-market. What's the name? Barron or Apollo Global has a bid in for 64. So you do the math. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Grinder. I don't know if this is the what's the name site? Grinder. What does Grindr do? Technology services, internet software. I don't know what Grindr does, but they're up 5.7%. I know what a Grindr does, one of them, but I don't know if this is the one. But they're up 5.78% as shareholders look to take it private. So Grindr confirms buyout interest from top investors. Two of Grindr's largest shareholders. Largest shareholders have expressed interest in an acquisition that would take the company private. Chair James Liu and director, that's James Liu and Ray Zaig, outlined in a letter that they want to buy the place. It's mine, and I want it. So we'll see how that works out, but they're up 5.7% pre-market based off that. Polaris is still on a tear here. Because I talked about them yesterday. Polaris, they're up again, 11% after spinning off Indian Motorcycle. India, if you've been to India, I haven't been to India, but I have some people that have been to India, and that's how they get around. It's kind of like Africa a little bit. They basically use, because I guess they don't have many, there's a lot of rural areas, and they use motorcycles to get around. So they're spinning off an Indian motorcycle, and it's probably something that's pretty economical for everybody over there, considering like gas going up and stuff like that. So they're up 11% off of that news. Then we already know ASML. They're up pre-market 4%. They're riding the AI hype. So and they beat earnings as well by 0.15%. Little missed revenue by like 3.5. But what's revenue when you're in AI? You know what I'm saying? Most of it's gonna go into research and development. And we already talked about Louis Vuitton as well. Louis Vuitton, let me see. LVMH. Sorry, I got some cutting out still that I gotta fix. But we already know about Louis Vuitton. They're up 40% as the luxury rebounds hard. Let's go to my playbook, man. This is from week. I haven't really added to it, but critical minerals are still up. They're down a little bit pre-market, but man, those things are taking off. I think I bought some of that yesterday. Then you got MP materials. That's another one. got unusual machines. Like if you've been paying attention in the news, everybody's using drones. That's the future of warfare, is drones. I bought into this a long time ago, and it's paid off. You got RCAT, it's another one of those type companies. It's up as well, down a little bit pre-market, but overall it's up. And MOB, shout out to Tupac. Mobilecom, same type company. They have hit a double top, so be careful. It could fall. They're saying $5 is the target. I doubt it goes that low. Maybe in this range here, $8.99 to $7.83 to $8.99 is probably maybe a better buy-in with less risk on the downside. You got Altura Group, you got AVAB is up as well. A little expensive. Those are from my high roller City off of that news, off of their earnings, when they beat earnings by 8% and revenue by almost 5%. So that spells good for banks, because banks killed me on the last earnings week or whatever, earnings season. Like, I was so mad. But anyways, like FBN, just forget about it. BBT, Bit Digital, BTBT, I'm sorry, Bit Digital, double top. I don't see it dropping all the way down to 2 something, but that's a good stock as well. It's in my playbook. I won't say it's a good stock, not giving you no financial advice, but I'm just showing you what's in my playbook right now. PNC, that's one of the ones that killed me. They're down. FNB, they're up a little bit pre-market, and they hit a double top, as you can see, target, and they bounce off of that, and it's riding. Fastnail, I believe they're a distribution services, but I believe they're like a fastener or something like that. Anyways, they're in my playbook as well. Sound, if you've been to any fast food, like, it's just getting crazy, because you're talking to AI constantly, and sounds behind that. Ericsson, we talked about that yesterday. Ericsson continues to go. It's going, and where will it stop? Nobody knows. A lot of volume, huge buy volume here. Huge. We're talking, I don't know, a lot though. And that's off of beating their earnings by 25%, which is a lot. I'm sorry, beating their earnings by 25%. That's a lot. They reported development, Canada. They signed a deal with Canada for $3 billion partnership to boost tech R&D, research and development. So, and then you got AI, C3.ai, double top coming. They're coming. I mean, normally, what was this, a $26, $30 stock here? I don't know. I can't remember. I know they, missed earnings by 80% on their last earnings report. So, but AI is this may. I don't know if this is more of a technical play or a hype play, because missing it that much is a lot. And their bounce right now, is that based off of just people just trying to buy anything AI, or is it actual merit to it? I don't know, but that's all that's in my playbook, man, for this for the rest of the week. Actually, I'll probably keep those in play for the next couple of weeks, and I may go back on some of my other playbooks, but right now that's what I'm running. That's my offense. My defense would be gold. If you trade that. So that's it, man, for the market update. If you caught some gems, do me a solid. Like, subscribe, and drop your biggest movers below in the comments. Let me know what you're buying. The gold breakout. Are you fading, or you fading the crypto dip? You buying the crypto dip? What are you doing? Let me know. Give me some feedback. What am I doing wrong? Give me some feedback on that as well. I'm not no hater, you know what I'm saying? And if you want to support the channel, like I said, just hit some links below. You want to level up your trading kit? I'm not below, but in my description, hit my link tree. There's all kinds of stuff there that you can do to support the channel. And I'll catch you on the next one, man. This was your boy Jay Reed, and I'm out. Peace.